Hey everyone, welcome to Logan's Mosh Pit. Glad to have you here. Do me a favor and please subscribe if you haven't already. You're just in time for a new episode of Rock and Read. Today we'll read chapter 7, 8, and 9 of Crazy from the Heat by Van Halen's original vocalist, David Lee Roth. Each chapter is only about a page long, so we'll zip through these pretty quickly. Now, let's see what Chapter 7 has in store for us. I went to work after junior college. I was with Van Halen, playing clubs and dives anywhere you can spell, and some you're still working on. I was night janitor, the nuclear janitor, the custodian, a porter in surgery, a sepsis tech. I went through a couple of seminars in asepsis, sterilization, bedside manner, people skills, these kinds of things. How to clean the spaceship. Without me, you got no spaceship. The nurses were hard-bit, wizened old gals, mostly chain smokers, who had been, done, gone, and seen everything. Many had done military service time, had returned for that camaraderie. You are a very, very important human being when you work in surgery, especially night shift trauma care. Trauma meant you were not only important, but you were important right the now. There's no fix it in the mix tomorrow. We were called Green Hornets because we wore surgical greens, like a shower cap to keep your hair in, green shirt, green pants, green paper booties over your sneakers, and then a backwards green smock down to your ankles. We struck fear into the patients. We were not allowed to walk through the normal corridors of the hospital. We were seen as angels of pain. In the mind of somebody who's about to go under an exploratory laparotomy, or he's about to get his neck opened up and find out if that tumor is benign or got a mind of its own. Last thing you wanted to see was the mechanic walk into your living room. Hey, I'm not supposed to deliver the car till tomorrow morning at 8 sharp. Now back the up. So there was a feared respect and that super hyper responsibility. This was not shoveling horse. This was mechanicking human beings. Well, that wraps up Chapter 7, so let's continue with Chapter 8. In 1979, I broke my foot jumping off the drum riser and landing on cement. The doctor said to me, "This is not going to heal. You're never going to dance the same way again. All those jump spinning back kicks and all that aerial work and so forth." So I spent the better part of a year standing in the doorway of my bathroom. I would put my arms against the door, and I would practice moving everything but my feet. I would test it by putting a glass on my head with some water so I could walk and do my hip swivel without spilling the water. Because I figured, well, if I'm never leaving the ground again, okay, God gave me lemons, lemonade for sale. Back in Swampscott, Massachusetts, 7 or 8 years old, I built myself a little lemonade stand. 5 cents, just like in the cartoon Peanuts. Things were not selling well at all. My pop said, "You know what you ought to do?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "You ought to put a hood over your head with 2 eye slits and big rubber gloves up to your armpits and write, 'Lemonade, 5 cents, untouched by human hands.'" I got it right away. Well, we're done with Chapter 8, so let's keep going with Chapter 9. Come late 78, Van Halen sold, 5-6 million records? I'm the only one out in the streets. Everybody else is very domestic, and sometimes I wonder if that might not be a great comfort. I'm the eternal wanderer, except now I'm noticed, so I gotta get a babysitter. In Los Angeles, we interview a lot of different guys for security. Last guy walks in is Big Ed Anderson, right out of the mountains, by way of Goodfellas, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. The scene in Goodfellas where they hijack a truck and suddenly everybody in the neighborhood is wearing a yellow sweater? That's Ed. He had the sweater. I'm feeling surly and sarcastic. I figure I'm going to fool with him. I say, I got 3 questions for you. What do you think of people partying? You know, carrying on, getting high, doing whatever on stage. Under the stage, backstage, in front of the stage. He says, I got no problem with that. So, okay, what about girls on stage? Under the stage, backstage, in front of the stage? He says, I could adjust. So, okay, tough guy, you know how to roller skate? He said, no, but I could learn. I said, you got a job. Ed said, great, what's our schedule? I told him, 6 weeks on the road, 10 days off. The band goes home, you and I go to the tropics. You got a bathing suit? Cool, let's go buy you some skates. And we did. Drove to the skate shop in Venice, got him some roller skates. Went right to the beach, commenced to roller skate. And of course, I'm Mr. Flamboyant, with the hair flying and the shorts, you know, the whole thing. This is Ed's first hour on the job. Somebody yells, you! Well, of course, I have to step off into the sand, raise a little gorilla dust. You know, when you hit your chest, that's gorilla dust that comes off. Welcome to our tiny little island, Ed. Well, that's the end of Chapter 9. Let me know what you thought of these chapters in the comments below. That does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Till then, rock on.